Dry Creek, Wyoming, wasn't kind to women who didn't fit the mold, especially not to Mercy Whitlock. At 27, she was already spoken of in hushed tones at the Mercantile. Too skinny, the older women said. Too strange, muttered the men. She lived alone in the modest cabin her father left her before he passed from fever. Mercy was all sharp elbows, long limbs, and eyes the color of prairie moss after a rain, though few looked close enough to notice. She wore her independence like armor, chopping her own firewood, sewing her own dresses, even tending a sick foal for her neighbor without complaint. But even the strongest woman grows weary of hearing she's not enough. So when she walked into the 4th of July barn dance alone, wearing her best calico dress, faded but pressed, she knew they'd talk. And they did. She's not much to look at, one rancher's wife whispered, eyeing her frame. Mercy heard, but didn't flinch. She wasn't there to win hearts. She just wanted to feel like she belonged somewhere, even for a night. Chapter 2, The Cowboy from Nowhere. Bo Rayner arrived in Dry Creek with little more than a stool bag and a scar under his left eye. Folks said he was running from something, or someone, but Bo never answered questions he didn't like. He found work mending fences at the Garrison Ranch, but his quiet eyes saw more than most folks guessed. That night at the dance, he leaned against the back wall, hat low over his brow, watching the townsfolk spin in laughter and light. And then he saw her. She wasn't laughing, wasn't dancing either, just standing off near the pie table, holding a glass of lemonade with both hands like it might shatter. But there was something in her stance, stoic but not bitter, that made Bo cross the room without realizing why. "Evening, miss," he said, voice low like thunder far off. Mercy looked up, startled. "Evening." He tipped his hat. "Name's Bo mind if I sit." Mercy blinked. "Suit yourself." And just like that, a wall cracked in her heart. Chapter 3, Whispers and Work. After that night, Bo kept showing up, first with a bushel of apples she might have mentioned craving, then with a sack of feed she was too proud to ask anyone to help carry. He didn't talk much, but when he did, it mattered. "You patched that roof yourself?" he asked once, nodding to her house. "I did," she replied. "Not bad for a spinster," he smirked. Mercy raised an eyebrow, but her lips twitched. Not bad for a wandering drifter. They worked together often, mending her broken corral, teaching her how to handle the wild chestnut mare she'd saved. And while the town still whispered, it began to whisper different things. That cowboy was spending a lot of time out there with Mercy, they said. Wonder what he sees in her. Mercy wondered too, until one evening, as the sun bled over the horizon, Bo said, "You remind me of my sister. Strong. Got left behind by too many people." Mercy swallowed. "You got family." "Had. Lost my sister and ma to a flood back in Texas. Been drifting ever since." She nodded. "I know the feeling." They didn't touch that day. They didn't need to. Something stronger than words was taking root. Chapter 4, Trouble Rides In. But peace in Dry Creek was never long-lived. A group of riders showed up one hot August afternoon, kicking up dust and suspicion. Men in trail-worn coats, guns on their hips, eyes cold as snakebite. They rode to the saloon and asked after Bo Rayner. Sheriff Cole paid Bo a visit that night. "They say you used to ride with the Black Rock gang." Bo didn't deny it. "Rode with M. Didn't like what I saw. I left. And they are looking to finish what you started." Bo glanced at Mercer's cabin in the distance. "I won't bring trouble to this town." "You already did," the sheriff said. Bo left that night without a word. Not even a note. Chapter 5, Mercy Rides Alone. The next morning, Mercy found his stool bag on her porch. Empty. She stared at it for a long time, her heart a tangle of confusion, anger, and something deeper, something broken. The town assumed it was over. Figures. said Mrs. Lancaster at the store. "No man sticks around for a woman like that." But Mercy did something no one expected. She saddled her mare, packed her father's old rifle, and followed the tracks east. "I ain't losing the first good thing that ever happened to me," she muttered into the wind. She rode through dry canyons and cold rivers. By the third night, her body ached, but her resolve didn't. She found them at a broken homestead, both tied to a post, bruised and blooded. 4 men sat laughing around a fire, rifles within reach. Mercy took aim from the rocks above. "Let him go," she shouted. The men scrambled, ducking for cover. One raised his rifle, but Mercy fired first. She didn't miss. In the chaos, Bo kicked free of his bonds and tackled one of the outlaws. The others fled, shocked by the wild-eyed woman with a rifle and no fear. When it was done, Bo looked at her like she was something holy. "You came for me," he rasped. Mercer's hands trembled. "You idiot. You left me." He limped toward her. "To protect you." "I don't need protection," she whispered. "I need the truth." Bo cupped her face with trembling fingers. "Truth is, I've been running my whole life, and you're the first place I ever wanted to stop." She closed her eyes and leaned into him. "I reckon," she said, "we stop together then." Chapter 6, Redemption and Return. They returned to Dry Creek battered but alive. Mercer's name, once spat in gossip, was now whispered with awe. Folks said she faced down 4 outlaws and saved a man's life. "Maybe she ain't so strange after all," someone muttered at the mercantile. Sheriff Cole shook Bo's hand. "You've earned your second chance." Bo built a small barn beside Mercer's cabin. He never asked to move in. He just stayed, fixed things, and waited. One morning, Mercy handed him a cup of coffee and said, "You're here every day. Might as well make it official." Bo smiled. "You asking me to marry you?" "Not exactly," she said, then kissed him softly. "But I wouldn't say no." They were married under the cottonwoods that fall. The town came, surprised but supportive, and Mercy wore a dress she'd sewn herself, simple, white, with wildflowers in her hair. Bo whispered during the vows, "You ain't too skinny for me." Mercy laughed through her tears. "And you're not too wild for me." They danced that night on the dope behind her cabin. No music but crickets and fireflies. And in that moment, the girl once labeled a spinster and the man once hunted by his past became a home for each other. Epilogue. Years later, children played under those cottonwoods, and travelers passing through Dry Creek often heard tales of the tall, quiet woman and the cowboy who loved her fierce heart. They said love had no shape, no rule, no weight or form. It just needed 2 souls brave enough to claim it. And in the wild, untamed West, that was miracle enough.